many other Nords nearby, and 2,300 in there. But we're still going to try this, right? This will be an epic siege. We can obviously lose, but sometimes that's what makes it epic. And I can't catch this guy here. This is ridiculous. Click him. Kill this guy. This guy's like taunting me, and I can't. The interface won't seem to let me click him. How ridiculous. It's always nice to look like an idiot on YouTube. Make yourself look bad. Well, let's start an episode right here, friends. Welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. Let's go ahead and orient the map here for you. Hold on, don't get dizzy. We're facing south at Dunglanis because this city's actually really hard to siege from an interface perspective. It's hard to set up your siege. We've got Glairon Heavy Hand here, and I don't know when this is going to be released, but we are prepping for the epic Nord campaign. There's some business we have to account for, right? We have to eliminate these Battanians. Anybody who followed the epic Valandian campaign knows the storyline. The Battanians are no longer here, right? So we're doing some of the dirty work with Glairon Heavy Hand. Now we've got the army to make this work, even though there's 2,300 forces defending at this at Dunglanis, this Battanian city. We've got all kinds of ranged units. We're infantry heavy and no cavalry, right? If you don't know, Glairon Heavy Hand despises cavalry, right? He kills them for fun. He kills them every single chance he gets, and he's not going to tolerate any in his army. Now, 2,400 in this city. In fact, I think that guy just slipped in. He taunted us. Now there's 2,600 inside Dunglanis. So let's call. There's nobody really close. This guy's three days away, and we're going to have to make a methodical siege here, right? Caladog. In fact, speaking of Caladog, there he is. It's always nice when they just pop up like that. They're probably going to mount a counter defense here. In fact, we may just have a big open field battle if the garrison sallies out on us. Now, if they don't, we're going to approach this very methodically. There's way too much food in there for me to be patient enough to try to starve them. And as others have noticed with war sales, it's a lot harder to starve out cities. It seems to be that if the city has some decent food stores, they're a lot more resilient than that 16 days. So we're going to lean on this city until it falls over. We've got 1,600 good troops. I would say about 2/3 of them are really good troops. The other 600, hard to know because they're Nord vassals. But we're going to be infantry heavy, lots of ranged units, and we're going to blow down the wall, maybe even both walls here. With trebuchets at the beginning. So we'll have a few minutes here for me to tell you a little bit about what's going on here. Welcome to our Epic Siege series. This is going to be an epic siege. We've got several mods that are working, and guys keep wanting a mod list. I'll do my very best to put a mod list in the video description. We're only using about 5, maybe 6, but they are very important for a big battle like this. Number 1, we're using the RTS mod. That'll allow us to move through the battle faster. It's imperative as a content creator, so you don't have to watch me lumber about the battlefield, and it speeds things up nicely. Number 2, the Battlesize mod, right? There's going to be 2,000 units on the battlefield. It ups it to the maximum, engine max. Let's see, number 3, we've got a mod that increases the amount of forces that our enemies have here, right? That's part of the reason there's 2,700 troops in the garrison, right? Or not in the garrison, but inside this city. And the walls are being stubborn here, but we could just fast forward this here, and this process should be done pretty quickly. We use a few other mods for visuals, but they're pretty minor, and that's about the extent of it. Right now, the Epic Nord campaign is going to have several mods, and we will either showcase those at the outset, or we will talk about them during the campaign. And this city is about ready here for the oven. We just need them to destroy that fire catapult and pause right there. Oh shit, we're a little late. Let's destroy this last catapult here. Both walls are down, right? So that obviously gives us an advantage. We're obviously outnumbered, right? In fact, the power bar looks pretty grim, but we've got some tactics. We've got Glairon Heavy Hand, right? Just like Napoleon. Wellington famously said that Napoleon was worth 40,000 men. I think Glairon Heavy Hand is worth 500 men in a battle. Maybe I'm being a little bit cocky, but he is a beast. And of course, if you want to build a character like this, we've literally got the blueprint for it on the channel. It's called our Beginner to Beast series. So many guys asked, they said, how did you build that guy? Well, we got a blueprint for you. All right, so this is going to be a beast of a siege assault. We're going to have to do this methodically and we're going to get shot at, right? So the first thing I think is let's get this banner, right? This banner will reduce the ranged attack damage, and we're going to frankly hide behind a lot of our troops as much as possible. We don't have a shield. That's how Glairon Heavy Hand rolls. Nothing but axes, right? A giant, fast, two-handed axe, and then 3 stacks of throwing axes. We'll make sure we're on the hardest difficulty here. Crack the proverbial neck, and let's do this shit, right? Tactics, battlefield orientation, blocking the enemy off. Dunglannis is a very... It depends on what walls interior-wise, what it looks like, but it's a very intricate city. There's all kinds of alleyways and stuff like that, and we're going to have to use them here. We're going to have to use tactics. We're going to have to use squares, flanking, etc. So we've got 1 fire catapult. That's almost our standard build here. In fact, I forgot to mention it because that's what we do every siege. I like to just roast a couple hundred enemies at the beginning, right? In this city, they're going to be exposed because the walls are down, right? So we're going to be able to roast some Battanians. That's the first thing on the menu. Next, we have the 1st and 2nd Division. They're going to come up and throw all kinds of throwing axes. We actually have too many divisions because, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use a division here to eat arrows. These guys are strictly going to be here. These are my personal shield wall while we sit on the catapult. Those guys will just sit here at an angle, and if they get shot and Glairon Heavy Hand does not, so much the better, right? Some of them have a shield, right? At least they got a shield. Now we got to reduce this division again. Get that set up. We don't have very many archers, right? We do have a lot of skirmishers, or at least a lot of throwing axes, and that'll be probably the 2nd wave here. Let's put the 3rd and 7th Corps back in reserve. Obviously, with so many troops, we don't really want to be right up against the walls, getting all these guys shot early on, right? Just the toughest infantry with shields. That way, it absorbs some of the barrage, because there's going to be a hellacious barrage of archers inside this city, just bombarding our troops outside. We're going to look like piñatas out here. Oh, I also look like a porcupine. A piñata? A piñata gets hit with sticks. I don't want to look like a piñata. We're going to look like a porcupine. I get my metaphors mixed. And we got plenty of light here. And you can already hear the shields being pounded, right? And they have 1, 2, 3. It looks like 4 different banks of archers. Either 3 or 4. And there's 130 or something in each one, right? So they have literally 500 archers on the field right now. And we're going to try to blow up some of their front line right here, right? These guys in this nice shield wall. Good job, men. Move up some archers here. Sometimes in big sieges like this, my narration starts to falter a little bit. It's hard to command all this shit and explain what you're doing. But like I said, these guys are going to stand here and get shot so that I don't, right? It's important that Glairon Heavy Hand survives this initial arrow barrage. I mean, I just see arrows whizzing all over the place. Right by me. I see dead guys right in front of me. So it's going to be a pain in the ass here. Now, apologies for that. I'm trying to make sure the right units are using throwing weapons. We don't want our skirmishers using throwing weapons yet, right? The enemy's up there holding up their shields. Let's not dump them into their shields. Let's wait until we have juicier targets, right? Speaking of juicy targets, look at this shit. These guys are literally visible. And get these guys up here too. Look at that splat. The whole fucking screen. Nothing like a bunch of Battanians being roasted. And we're getting peppered a little bit, but a lot of these other guys are getting shot, right? And like I said before, better them than us. 280, 120. Now in big keep sieges like this, the biggest key is to apply pressure at multiple points. So we're going to have units go through the gate as our troops get mowed down here. I think it's worth it, right? We're losing a couple guys, and then they lose, you know, a couple dozen guys. That was a bad shot, but we can get these infantry divisions right in their face. We might even charge. No, I'm not fucking winding the winch. Get out of my way. What do you think? I'm a servant? I'm the fucking firer of the catapult, dude. Get over there and wind that winch. It's fun playing a tyrant, right? You could just be a total asshole. Glairon Heavy Hand is going to be an absolute tyrant asshole. You guys thought the Baron was bad. All right, now we are immolating Battanians left and right, and I see no reason for me to do anything else except sit right here, right? We're just going to immolate them. I've only been hit a few times with arrows. It's at a long range, so it's only pricked me. Our 1st division is chucking arrows in there, but our 2nd division will wait. I'm going to have them In fact, you see this side over here where I'm pointing the arrow? I think there are forces that are visible there too. Let's give them some third-degree burn love as well. Give another shot or two to these Battanians. That's a nice shot to turn the catapult on. I mean, the whole screen, you know, it's like 30 or 40 guys. Just kaboom, right? And that's like a bad shot. 15 die. I think let's give this other opening some love, because I think in a city like this, where you have lots of forces at the gate, what it makes sense is to not attack the center, because the enemy crimps in on you, right? They put reinforcements on both sides, and if you have no choice, you have no choice, like if it's through the gate. But I think it makes sense for us to try this other access, right? We have two holes here, right? So just like a terrible porn director, we've got our choices here of orifices. We can push our way over towards that right, flame some of them, and we'll see what it looks like, right? We're going to look at things up close. As a commander, it's so important to get onto the battlefield, get your eyes on what you're fighting before you make decisions. But I think that right side is going to work better. Also, there's all kinds of alleyways, and they're sort of sloped down to the gatehouse. So if we can get 300-400 troops in there, we're going to be able just to sort of take over the interior defenses, basically. We'll be able to get forces behind the enemy, archers hitting their units on the walls. And how deliciously ironic will that be? So we're just going to fire off these last few fireballs. The 1st Division is pressuring the center. Good job, lads. And one more juicy shot here for the road. I think there's 1 or 2 left. And hopefully a big splat here. All right, well, it's a good sign that they're not that compacted. We probably killed 150 infantry just with the fireballs here. And yeah, they've shot some of our troops, right? We've definitely suffered some losses. We're still suffering losses. You can see the death, but I think that's still a very net positive for siege. All right, so 2nd Division here, and it looks like there was 1 fire catapult left. Oh no. The guys at the gate, again, have not done their job, so we're going to have to micromanage that. I insist on having the gate open now in sieges like this. If you find yourself trapped all of a sudden and units can't get in to rescue you, you're just fucked. So I'm going to tuck some units here against the wall. Our 2nd Division is over here, 200 lads strong. They've got good shields. Those guys are going to have great survivability, and I'm going to go micromanage this gate real quick. We've got to at least make a press into the main gate here. That way the enemy can't put all their defenders right where we are, right? We want to give them, the guys, the feeling that they can that they have to defend all 3 locations. Now I just relearned this. Look how amazing! Oh shit! Well, you got to relearn that part too. Make sure you do it with the shield. Throwing axes, for whatever reason, destroy doors amazingly effectively. Now those guys are going to be much less vulnerable to those little rocks they throw down, right? What division are you guys? This is the 8th Division. In you guys go, right? Just, they're going to their deaths, but of course their job is simple. Draw attention away from our other attacks. It's a feint attack. We're honoring Sun Tzu here. All warfare is based on deception. A little deceptive charge there through the gate, and we're also trying to get the enemy to make another mistake, right? He who defends everything defends nothing. That quote refers basically to the concept. If you defend all your different areas, you get thinned out, and eventually you get blown up in one of those locations. We're trying to make the enemy defend all their locations here. So we've got skirmishers waiting here, and I'm gonna see if we can't draw some enemy forces out. We've got archers. Oh shit! They're coming out all right. They're like barreling right at our 3rd Corps. Well, these are shock troops. Nice to meet you. Good night. Right, these are a bunch of Skjoldversteers charged, boys. Give them hell. The skirmishers are on the other side. They can be firing throwing axes into their back. And that helps, right? It helps when the enemy suicides 50 troops. Let's see what this looks like. I think it's good. I don't see a lot of infantry here. We're going to square this 2nd Division, send the 3rd and archers behind them. Oh, we got this shit. These guys are fucked. All right, so you just send them in here in a shield wall or a square. Shield wall's a little faster. And you don't get shot in the face. I already lost half my health at the gatehouse. That was ridiculous. All right, in they go, and let's see if they squeeze their butts in there, because the center is held, right? The 1st Division is doing their thing. Shit, more reinforcements just showed up. So this is what I mean. The AI does a good job now in Siege, right? And of course I didn't mention it, but I've been mentioning it in various other episodes. The AI does a great job now reinforcing locations. That was not very long from the time that we annihilated the forces over here till they got reinforcements. But I think it's too late. We got at least 200 troops through the hole here. The hole's still open, right? In fact, we can jam up their reinforcements so they can't block the hole. That's what she said. We're going to get archers up here on the walls. We're going to break out our throwing axe game here. Make sure we don't get shot. But I think I just got juicy Botanians to hit in the face. And this is our access to the city. This is beautiful. This is our best infantry fighting archers, and they don't like it, even though they're fiends. Oh shit, we got to split it and attack this other division. We got to clog up all these different holes here. The Botanian rats are trying to sneak in. Let's charge with the archers. And I'm going to have to get reinforcements here. Whenever the reinforcements start pouring in, though, this is our breach, right? We don't actually care now about any of the other breaches. Here's our access to the city. We've got the Botanians on the ropes over here. And if we can get to where the defenders are normally, then we can kill the enemy on the wall, right? They're up there on the wall defending against our 1st Corps, 4th Corps at the gate. 35. Let's move them right in here. Push through, boys. There's only 70 archers here. I want these guys by them. I want this alley, right? We want this city. These guys aren't paying any attention at all. You just stand there. There's a dipshit born every day. Now they're pulling out their bow. Oh shit, he sees me. Oh, he shot me right in the fucking neck. You fucking asshole. Let's try to push him past him here. I've got archers here for support, so if our troops can move past him, these archers will just start strafing the enemy. And the other side, 50, 30. That should do. We just got a ton of reinforcement archers in, right? So this is precisely what we're hoping for. Now that we have a breach, we can start taking over this city's alleyways here. This is one of my favorite parts of Bannerlord. It's absolute chaos, but there's intellect used here, right? Or at least there should be, right? If you're using your brain right here, you can have huge gains over the defender here, right? We're basically gonna dominate our enemy using their own citadel here, right? We're just gonna start putting defensive lines here, pull infantry and archers towards the core of the city, and then work our way from the inside out. Now this city is kind of bewildering, right? There's all kinds of... nobody gets to run, dude. Did I say anybody could leave? I don't know which of these alleys leads to the main gate. It's very bewildering here. So let's just take a peek here. I don't really see any access there. That might be too roundabout of a way. I want to keep our forces somewhat concentrated, right? One division is charging. 2 divisions of archers are coming in to set up. And I don't want to get our forces too spread out. There's a possibility the AI gets reinforcements and just slams into us, right? So we want to keep our forces together. 6th, 7th, 5th, and 7th. I start mumbling at this stage. Where the fuck is the enemy? These guys have plowed. Oh, look at it. They're beautiful. They're all trapped on the stairs of their own citadel. Come on in, archers. There's lots of enemies to shoot on their own walls. It's just glorious. In fact, I don't even want these guys charging. Get back here in a square. We're now defending this city. It's hilarious. We've turned the fucking table on the enemy here. Our archers are set up behind them at the gate. And their infantry's like, what's this shit? There's archers behind us here, Lord. That can't be. It appears there are, sir. There's lots of them. Well, we're fucked then. Yes, you are. All right, we got to get some infantry down there. That's a lot of infantry holding up their shields. 3rd and 7th. The 1st division looked like it broke free, right? We're starting to make breaches because the AI is scrambling, trying to figure out how to deal with all these different multifaceted attacks. And let's get violent here, right? Glaring Heaven Hand hasn't really had his axe on yet. Let's get in here. There's always some stubborn tier 1 guy who fucking blocks everything. Block that. These troops are going to rout. They're cut off. They're getting butchered. They're getting kicked in the back and cut down like a bitch. Our archers are just waiting for anybody to get through. In fact, let's push these guys through to the gate, right? It'll expose all these Botanians to our archers. Move these guys forward. They'll be firing down into the gatehouse. The death spam looks like a massacre here. And we're we're the assaultee here, right? Usually it looks like this the other way around when you're oh shit, we got a charge here. These archers just got mobbed by a bunch of militia. Let's get them off these guys. We can clear some of these guys out. These guys are soft targets here. And that's what I meant. Why we had to keep our forces together. Yeah, I like your hammer. Maybe I'll use it after you're dead. Because this can happen, right? These forces basically poured out of the citadel at us. Nobody's using throwing weapons against Glairon Heavy Hand. They're all doing their best to survive, and they just melt. You guys are all dead men. His character's sick. Yeah, you can't stop him. He's just an absolute butcher. All right, let's get these archers back to the gate. We beat off that assault. There's still a lot of enemy forces here to deal with. They got a ton of troops on the walls, and what's beautiful about it is we're going to be able to trap them on the walls and shoot them with our spread out archers down here, right? There's troops at the gate. It looks like there's a bunch there. In fact, there's tons coming down the ladder. Let's have them charge that 1st Division archers spread out here, and let's get another division moved in here as well, right? Let's get a bunch of forces. I got you, bud. Let's get a bunch of forces concentrated right here at the gate. They're pouring down this ladder. Come on, archers, get set up. Bitches ain't shooting right in front of Glairon Heavy Hand, dude. Oh, shit. They're raking at the gate. Those guys are going berserk. And these Battanians are trapped. They got forces on the other side of them. So they can't come down, or they can't go any other direction but down. They're starting to rout and run the other direction. I don't think they can run back there. I think our forces are on those ramparts. I think these are dead men. They might be completely trapped up here. The gatehouse looks clear. And there's a bunch of Battanians here, but they are literally trapped in 3 different directions. We got forces coming up coming through the hole there. And we've got forces on both sides of the walls. And man, was this a massacre here. That went better than planned. I mean, we're attacking here a force that's almost twice our size. And our forces just shoved in shit hard here. This is like a fucking bad prison rape movie. Let's get this, just in case there's more. I don't really see any enemy forces. In fact, I just looked at the power bar. I tend not to during battle. This battle is over. Holy shit. That was Steamroller City right there. All these lads, you guys did solid fucking work. It's not a great army, but when you use it well, man, is it a thunderous beast. We got to make a good thumbnail for this. We got to get a little screenshot for the episode for it, but what an epic assault. Now, it wasn't close. Some of these will be close and some will be blowouts, right? I don't have any control over the final result. I mean, you know, making it close or not. We're not going to like throw the game to try to make it closer, but it's a textbook destruction of this Battanian force. And you know what? In addition to leveling our skills here, Battania is gone. That's it. Once we click this button, I looked around. They don't have any other citadels, so it's not a big deal, right? It's the Glairon Heavy Hand campaign. We're transmuting this into a continuation of the Epic Valandian campaign. If you're not aware, you know, we do these epic campaigns every 6 months or so, and they're a highly focused, storyline-driven, modded campaign, right? With epic battles like that. Frankly, that might seem on the smaller size once the campaign is all said and done. We've had battles with 10,000 units on the field, so that was a great affair, though. I enjoyed that thorough ass-whipping here. The destruction of the Battanian Empire, and we get our pick of the litter. We don't have a problem with morale anymore, right? Our party morale 100, right? Recent events, everybody thinks you're great. All the wives they all want to hook up. And kind of disappointing loot, considering how many forces were inside. Doesn't really matter. We're absolutely loaded to the gills with good loot. But that was a satisfying siege, and there they go, right? The Battanians have been destroyed. Love it. In fact, Caladog's right here. He's all bereft. He's got his brown banner because he's no longer Battania. So, pillage this city. Let the lads get on some pillage. And we get an autosave here, which is nice. And we're going to wrap this up. Now, these are, in effect, sort of sequels. They're not even sequels. They're prequels to the epic Norse campaign, right? We're going to have a Norse campaign with Glaron Heavy Hand, this monstrous beast. That's coming down the road. And just to make sure, we're on the hardest difficulty here. Still a thorough ass whipping. So, if you want to see more from either this Epic Siege series, or if you're curious about the Glaron Heavy Hand Epic Nord campaign, check out our channel. Right? You might want to subscribe. Please hit that like button on the way out. Right? These videos do take me a lot of work. Sometimes there's after editing, or I make cutscenes and stuff like that. I would appreciate it. It brings more fellas to the channel. If you're interested in being part of our Epic Norse campaign, our Patreon site is a great spot to start. I ask for volunteers. Sometimes I need character names, or even your own character from your own game. With all that said, friends, I appreciate you fellas. Glaron Heavy Hand and I will see you next time.